So we needed to do the framing part here so that we could install the skylights in the next step. Well, today's the day we're going to be installing the new skylights. I've already cleaned up the roof, so they're going to seat nicely when I put them in. We're going to be installing the skylights with something called SikaFlex, which is basically like a silicone, but it's very strong, so it's like super glue. So when you put it down, it'll create such a fantastic seal around the edge here that we'll never get leaks again like we had previous, and it will be fully insulated and it will withstand the weather. So let's get to it. Here we have the instructions. As per the instructions, we've already got the holes cut out. We've got to here, so we've cleaned up the surfaces around the edges. Now we're going to fit the SikaFlex onto the back of the skylight and then push it down onto the surface, and then install the inner piece and screw it in on all four sides. So the first step was to cut a V into this, so then it gives a nice thick bead when we install it around the frame. Around here we've got to fill this gap in here all the way around, and that will give a nice fitment then. So you can see we're putting the bead in. I'm going to do that all the way around. Nice thick bead. This will ensure a nice seal. It'll be completely weather tight when we actually install it. So we put a second bead all the way around to make it nice and thick, so that we make sure that it takes into account the dips in the roof, so it'll be a nice seal. We have to wait 10 minutes now, and then it will be ready to go. We've just looked and we think that because there are several dips in this roof, because it's not completely flat, even though we've put the frame in, that it might not be fully watertight along the edges. So we're putting a bead round this as well, so that when we seat it, there's just no chance of there being any gaps. So it's a bit hard to see because of the camera lighting. There we go. So we just put some along both of these edges here, because these are the sides that are dipping, and it will create a lovely seal. And then we've got to do it to this one that I'm actually stood in at the moment. There's one of the roof lights. The other one's in the box still, and that's going to go on the inside and clamp it together nice. Here's a test fit for the new skylight. It fits like a glove. It's really spot on actually, how it fits. I can't actually close it properly, I don't think. Oh yeah, I can. Because it's not secured in, but that's what it looked like finished. Look how much nicer that is. You can see the sky now. So this is going to pull. This is going to pull the skylight down and keep it together whilst it dries. It's a little bit hard when you're trying to do it on your own, isn't it? Yeah. Trying to film you though. Of course, this is going to have to come back out again at some point when I put the insulation in and then put the plyboard and the carpet in and all that. But for the time being, it needs to be put in and it'll make it watertight. Because it looks like it's going to rain at some point today. And we've still got to fit the other one. Well, that's one down, and we've only got one more to go. We've actually put this cardboard in as a spacer around it so that it can draw it in properly. Because when we first put it in, we realised that there wasn't quite enough thickness, so it couldn't draw it down. So we've learnt our lesson. We even had one of these that wouldn't come out, so I had to use a Dremel on it and then use a flathead to release it. But that's fine, it's all done. We're going to install the other one now. So they're in, both of them are in. We've put these pieces of cardboard in here to sandwich the actual skylight to the wood, because we haven't taken into account when we've put the frame in, it has to be a certain diameter, like a depth here, and then we've got to account for the plywood that's going to be here. So by putting the cardboard in here, that is basically the plywood, so now it all screws together nice and firmly, and all of the sealant that's all around on the outside is sandwiching nicely and squidging out so that there'll be no leaks. So they look really cool. I mean, these will have to come off again when we do all the paneling in here and the insulation, but for now they'll be just temporary. So now we've actually got it watertight in here. Both of them are in. Both of them are the same. This one's open, look, as you can see. Same cardboard on both sides. Like, in here is so much brighter now. Looks really cool. You see where it's squidging out. And that's what they look like on top.